What is up, guys? It's Slim here. I am gonna kind of do what everybody's doing here and just kind of give my own thoughts and opinions on what's going on in DBD because I kind of wanted to wait a little bit before everybody else, even though this came out like 3 days ago, because I wanted to wait to see what everybody else kind of thought before posting anything else. Obviously I haven't uploaded for a while, but I feel like this is a big thing to upload. I've been very busy outside of DBD and streaming and everything like that. I haven't even really streamed that often. But I feel like this is definitely something to talk about because this is a really big thing in DBD. Now, I would definitely never call myself a veteran when it comes to this game. So, to some people, my opinion might be irrelevant. But hold on for a second here because I'm trying to think logistically from how many hours I have had in this game, which is around 400, 450 hours so far. And I split back and forth a lot with DBD. I'm going to kind of give my opinions here. Because especially from, I guess, we'll yap about that a little later on. So, where do I come from talking about this? Is I feel like I am definitely, not to toot my own horn or call myself cocky or anything, I'm definitely not the best at this game, but I definitely think I'm a lot better than most new players. And that's going to be a point that matters later on. But I guess first, let's kind of just get really into the nitty gritty here of what's going on here. So in the PTB, which I'm pretty sure is going to launch September 3rd, if my mind is correct. They're gonna do this new slugging update and a new tunneling update, and also a new shape rework. Ever since I've even started playing this game, which was the Resident Evil bundle, came out like on sales why I bought it. Anyways, there was rumors about slugging happening. Not even rumors. It was confirmed. I don't know why I said rumors. It's confirmed that they were going to do something with slugging 100%. Originally, from what I've seen from past stuff, is hello Jackson, my kitty cat. Anyways, from what I've seen, is they were originally going to say something with like base kit unbreakable and tenacity, and they apparently tried it at some point. People didn't enjoy it too much. But as you can see here, if a survivor is left in the dying state of a total of 90 seconds during a match, they gain the ability to pick themselves back up. I wouldn't 100% call this base kit unbreakable. 90 seconds is a very long time. I think 90 seconds is an incredibly long time to pick yourself back up. Because the killer is either leaving you for probably 30 seconds and then coming back to grab you. They're usually just kind of checking out the perimeter. I mean, sometimes it's like maybe 60. 60, like at most, is how long I've slugged playing killer, especially newer ones that I'm learning. 90 seconds is a lot of time. That's a lot of time to pick yourself back up. So I think that's fair because slugging on both ends is very annoying for the survivor, which I know is going to get some killers riled up saying this, but it is very annoying. Vice versa, though, is as killer, you are not slugging that long. Unless you're slugging for a 4K on some killers, which I'll get to kind of later in the video here. I think this is fine. I think the 90 seconds is fine because it's 90 seconds. That's a long time, genuinely. That's a very, very long time. And I think if a survivor's on the ground for that long, it makes sense. Now, the part about how it just kind of starts automatically charging out of the ability survivors to recover while crawling. Recovery now occurs passively with no. That's just a life thing. That's just good. That's just a quality of life thing that they did there. Is that just passively recovers? That's nice. You don't have to hold a button for that. That's just a quality of life thing. However, gradually increases crawling speed for survivors are left in the dying state. Also, the fact that you can crawl. This is problematic for a couple reasons. It's not the fact that it's base kit tenacity itself, because I've seen some other people like Game Boy Ben talk about this, how they can genuinely just they can just crawl away. You're not going to be able to find them. This is true to an extent. My biggest problem, and how I know for a fact that this is going to be bad, like before it's, when you think about it, it doesn't sound like the worst thing in the entire world until you think about perks like Conviction. Conviction's broken. If I don't care who you are, Conviction is a broken perk. That perk, dude, was Soul Guard and this base kit tenacity, and you could run other stuff. Fuck no, dude. That's gonna be ridiculous. Because you can walk away and start recovering and you crawl quicker. So you're already making distance. The whole point of Conviction being broken is because you're already making distance. You're going to be doing it even more with this. You're going to be just instantly making distance. The existence of Conviction is going to make it so the killers just have to pick up frame one. That's where my problem really lies, is Conviction's existence. You're going to have to pick up frame one. Otherwise, that survivor's gone. Like, actually gone. And there's no way around it, like, at all. So I think the 90 seconds is fine. I think the tenacity definitely needs to be looked at. If not, the anti-slug perks like Conviction, they're going to have to look into those, because this is not going to be balanced whatsoever. And this is what they kind of said. When it comes to slugging, we know it can be frustrating if you're on the receiving end of it too often or for too long, but we also know sometimes it's a smart move. They cut it really short because sometimes that's not true. It is not a smart move. Sometimes it is quite literally necessary, which is why I'm kind of going to now bring this up. Onryo and the twins. Sorry. These two killers. I'll start with the twins. The twins' whole game plan is slugging. That's their whole thing. So twins is gonna have to get a rework because of this entirely, even because of the 90 seconds. Twins is gonna have to get a rework, just 100%. There's no way around it. Onryo, if the Swift knows what they're doing and they actually do tape runs, then yeah, same thing with Onryo. She's useless here. She has to start slugging if people understand how the tapes work, because then she's just not going to be able to teleport and keep up with the pace. So those are two killers that are really big with this. It's not just a smart move. It is quite literally necessary. There is no way around it. These are the killers that need to do this kind of stuff to actually even come close to winning a game. And these are like B to C tier killers. As a big part of this... Oh, wait, no, sorry. I literally skipped so much of that shit. This updated system acknowledges this, allowing the killer to slug occasionally when they feel like it. It's right call, but will eventually kick in the swing in the survivor's favor if slugging is used excessively. Now, this is true for strong killers like Blight and Nurse. But like I just said, for stuff like Onryo and the twins, no, absolutely not. This fixes nothing. They become useless. And they're already like B tier killers. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. A lot of people have kind of talked about this already, about how this update is just making weak killers weaker and strong killers stronger. A big part of this is also about making the experience of being slugged more pleasant, as much as slugging can be, at least. The recovery changes and crawling speed will give you a bit more agency when downed, so you aren't just holding a button while waiting. See, that I agree with. It's just a quality of life thing, like I said before. Let's move down quickly to the thing that is upsetting a lot of people. And I, honest to God, don't think this is going to pass. From a game developer's perspective, I would hope that they would think that this is not going to pass, because some of this stuff on the anti-tunneling is so unbelievably unnecessary. especially with the anti-slug stuff. Killers are getting like absolutely nothing here. And I play more Survivor, to be honest. I do. Killer's fun, but it's more stressful. This is just gonna add the stress to it. And the killer queue times are just gonna go down hella from this because this is gonna be terrible. Plus, we're gonna be seeing a lot of stuff. I'm getting way too ahead of myself here because I haven't even read it here. When a survivor is hooked, their hook status is hidden from the killer, which I don't really understand entirely because people think of hook status as like how many times they've been hooked. What I think this is, and I have yet to see any content creator kind of see this, is I think it's the imaging to the left side of your screen, how it shows that they're hooked. Something tells me I think that's what this is it's not going to pop up that they're hooked. It's just going to show their player icon. I think that's what this is because you've never been able to see how many hook states they're at. So I think this is just the image on the left side of the screen is going to be able to show that they're not hooked. It's just going to be their player icon, which is annoying in itself because you're not going to know if they're getting unhooked or not. When they're unhooked, there is no notification and their hook status isn't revealed immediately. So, yeah. I think it's just the image on the side is what they're talking about here, and plus the big bubble, which the big bubble's annoying for everybody. So, but not showing that they're getting unhooked is going to be terrible. Unhooked survivors gain the following effects for a limited time: haste, endurance, and elusive. So back to the slugging area, we have base kit tenacity, a very weak version of base kit unbreakable, and now we have basically base kit babysitter is what this is. This is when they're starting to kind of hit high in the ballpark because I mean the endurance has always been there. Because you can't just get sniped twice. And you get the new elusive effect, which we will go over later. But no collision with other players, both killer and survivor. Immunity to killer instinct and sees the killer's aura nearby. See, this is when they're just adding a bunch of stuff. This is when this becomes terrible. So now when you're unhooked, you also see the killer's aura. All these effects are lost when the affected survivor perform a conspicuous action. I'm assuming this is something like fast vaulting or like doing a gen and stuff like that. All these effects are disabled once all generators are completed, except for haste and endurance. So you're still having like base kit babysitter. So that perk literally just became D tier because you just have it at base kit now. Added a unique effect to the killer hook and UI that indicates this. So this is going to be the stuff that's like trying to even it out. What they find fair for the killers to even out this kind of stuff. We'll see if it fully does. Haha, spoiler, it does not. After completing a unique hook, which means it's a different survivor, not the same survivor that was hooked consecutively, killers get the following benefits. They get bonus damage to generator kicks, so like base kit pop, basically, except I highly doubt it's that big. Temporary haste status effect. Who really cares about that? That doesn't matter whatsoever. Temporarily reveals survivors. Think of it as like a base kit barbecue and shit, which is pretty good. These are pretty good. So the pop goes the weasel, and the aura reveal is pretty good. The haste, take it or leave it. I mean, it's whatever. I don't think it's gonna do that much. But the barbecue and chill base kit and the pop goes the weasel base kit, that's fire. That's really good. That actually gives killers incentive to go after other survivors. These effects are slightly lessened for Blight, Dark Lord, Ghoul, Hillbilly, and Nurse. Funny enough, you've probably heard this multiple times already, that they know what killers are the stronger killers and that there's weaker killers in the game, and yet I'm just gonna leave it there. These effects are disabled once all generators are completed. Makes sense. Added new effects that desensitize tunneling. If a survivor dies before 6 total hook states, all remaining survivors gain a repair speed bonus for the rest of the trial. Again, sorry, Had a cough there. Allergies are kicking my ass. This, I've seen a lot of people like aughts saying that this is fine if it's like at 5 or 6%. This is where I start to disagree. We need to understand in this scenario that they are specifically thinking of top tier killers. Because gens for like Ghostface and Nemesis and Onryo, they pop so fast already. And now they get more gen progression for tunneling. Like, dude, this almost kills Pyramid Head because he needs to tunnel somebody out for him to be actually pretty good. And this kind of just ruins that entirely, which is tragic. Because 5%, why are people thinking that like 5 or 6% isn't a lot? Because one of the most broken perks I would say on Survivor side is resilience, and it's because everything is 9%, and that includes gen speed, which it is fast. So an extra like 5 or 6%. If it's like 2 or 3%, then that's fine. But if it's like 5 or 6, this is gonna be terrible for low tier killers, bro. It's just gonna kill them entirely. Anyways, if the survivor that was last hooked is sacrificed to kill generators cannot be regressed or blocked. That is dumb. That is the thing that I swear on my life they're not going to pass through. I don't know who thought of this. It is a terrible idea. Even on paper, this is a terrible idea. Because again, this just shuts off so many builds for like mid to low tier killers. How is like Ghostface or Myers or Onryo or Nemesis, how are they supposed to keep up with any of this? How are they supposed to keep up with literally any of this? Because even on my side of things, when I'm playing Survivor and I'm going up against these B tier killers and I have competent teammates, those gens pop, they fly. They fly so fast. So I think that is something that cannot pass. It cannot pass. Otherwise, this game will die. Everything else is like trial and error. I think base kit tenacity is a stupid idea. The unbreakable 90 seconds, that's fine. I don't think that's going to do anything. It's just we're going to have to get used to it and play a little quicker on our feet as killer. But something like this, if you're running a full regress build, I mean, you're going to be forced to do a full regress build now, actually, entirely, because this actually just promotes it entirely, because what are you supposed to do? Because you're already forced to hook other survivors for that extra stuff, so that just makes it stronger to run regression. But in the rare moments where you're playing against a Swift and you're like literally Nemesis and you have to tunnel somebody out, then you can't do anything. Because if you tunnel them out, then you have no way to even win. Even with the 3-gen, I don't even think it matters because you can't regress the gens. You can't use Eruption. You can't use Pop. You can't use any of these things. So it makes the end game so violently in Survivor's favor that it doesn't even matter at this point. So, yeah. I'm going to kind of give my closing thoughts here. With these two things, I'm not really going to go over the other stuff. You can kind of go read them yourself. It's just a new effect. It's not too terrible. Michael Myers Strange is whatever. He's just a dash killer. It's blah, blah, blah. It's lame, but it's something different. My closing thoughts is I think a lot of this stuff is stupid and behavior is taking this to the wrong direction because I'm gonna get so flamed for voicing my thoughts because this is the internet. But I don't think slugging or tunneling is the problem here. We have perks that counter this stuff. The problem is there is no tutorial to show people what to do in this game, dude. I've seen people that are high, like prestige levels and more hours than me in this game, and they're significantly worse. You have to watch like hours of YouTube content to even be like semi decent as a survivor in this game. Or play with friends. You need a 4 stack because the solo queue is terrible, dude. Some people are genuinely, they just don't understand the game. They need like separate tutorials on each of the killers so that survivors understand what like the killers do. And that mostly comes down to behavior knowing their own actual game, which I don't think they do at this point because I think something like a tutorial that shows every single killer and what they do is nice. I think that would make sense. Like I used to play a ton of Overwatch too. They have this system where you can play as a certain hero and it shows you like the basics of what the hero does, how to use their effects and stuff like that. I think Dead by Daylight would actually work so well with this if it was you load it in as Survivor and it's like, oh, hey, Wraith does this. Wraith is going to try and do this. Wraith does stuff like this, and Oni does this. I think that will be very nice. And I think that would fix a lot of the issues in this game. Because realistically, I hate to say this, it is a skill gap, is what the problem is. I think the state of the game right now is fairly balanced, man. I hate the survivor versus killer favoritism argument. I really do. Because the thing is if you're like a B tier killer against a Swift of 4, you're gonna lose. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna lose. If you're a nurse and you one trick nurse and you know how she works and everything, you're going to win every single game. So it's like a 50-50 at this point. So I think they need to do a good job of actually teaching their new players how to play the game. Because I think if we had a lot of better survivors, actually, like in the lobbies, we can move stuff along from there. I think when they actually learn the game and understand how this kind of stuff works, we can move on from there and buff and nerf killers when we need to. Just shoving 2 big updates like this in one sitting is gonna just make people angry and not play the game. But yeah, that's kind of all I really had in my personal thoughts when it came to this. So hope you guys did enjoy. See ya.